Hi, this is Naomi with Sword and Steel, and today I'm going to be looking through this Order Battletome Sylvaneth. Okay, let's take a look at this book. Tree Revenants and Arc Revenant in the background. A story about Alariel and Sylvaneth. A table of contents and some glorious pictures of Sylvaneth with the new Sylvaneth endless spells in there. Here we have explaining, I guess, what the Sylvaneth is all about. And that same picture in color. Yeah, that's lore. Season of War, Forest Hosts. These are all backgrounds, the history of the Sylvaneth. The various glades of the Sylvaneth. Yeah. I can't wait to see what these ones are gonna be about. Different Wargrows and the story behind all of the different glades. Story behind Alariel and the various other Sylvaneth characters and models. That's a nice picture. The different great paintings, different color schemes you could choose. Tree Lord Ancient, Tree Lord and Spirit of Durthu. I guess what all the different units are. Oh, I really like this part. Look at that, all the different paint schemes and how to paint them. This is perfect. I am, for example, definitely going to use, oh, what is it? I'm going to use that on something. I don't know what I'm using on. The glossary. Oh, here we get to the battle traits. Okay, let's see if there's anything different. Instead of setting up a Sylvaneth, this is the Forest Spirits ability. Instead of setting up a Sylvaneth unit on the battlefield, you can place it to one side and say that it is set up in the Hidden Enclaves as a reserve unit. Okay, that's the same. You can set up one reserve unit in the Hidden Enclaves for each unit you set up on the battlefield. At the end of your movement phase, you can set up one or more of the reserve units that are in the Hidden Enclaves on the battlefield wholly within 6 inches of an awakened Wyldwood and more than 9 inches from any enemy units. Any reserve units in the Hidden Enclaves that are not set up on the battlefield before the start of the 4th battle round are slain. So wholly within 6 inches. I think it used to be within 3 inches and more than 9 inches away from enemy. Now it's wholly within 6 inches and more than 9 inches away from any enemies. So that's a bit different. That gives you a little bit more leeway for sure. Navigate the realm routes. Instead of making a normal move in your movement phase, one friendly Sylvaneth unit wholly within 6 inches of an awakened Wyldwood can oh, it's wholly within 6 inches. Oh, that's great. It makes it so much easier to move. Okay. Can navigate the realm routes. If it does so, remove that unit from the battlefield and then set it up again wholly within 6 inches of another awakened Wyldwood and more than 9 inches from any enemy units. Okay, so that makes it easier to move about the awakened Wyldwoods wholly within 6 inches instead of, oh wait, wholly within 6 inches instead of 3 inches. Okay, I don't know whether that's actually easier for larger units. Definitely easier for smaller units, but I have to get, yeah, I should be fine. 6 inches, 6 inches, oh yeah, okay. I could definitely get all my dryads within 6 inches. So, yeah, absolutely easier. Okay. Though wholly within 6 is, I guess in some cases, harder when you only need one dryad within 3 inches. Now you need every dryad within 6 inches. Still, I still like it though. Alright, places of power. What's this? After territories have been chosen, but before armies are set up, you can pick one terrain feature on the battlefield that was not set up by your opponent as part of their army. Do not take battle shock tests for friendly Sylvaneth units while they are wholly within 6 inches of that terrain feature. Well, that's really neat. You can pick one terrain feature after territories have been chosen, but before armies are set up. You can pick one terrain feature on the battlefield that was not set up by your opponent as part of their army. Do not take battle shock tests for friendly Sylvaneth units while they are wholly within 6 inches of that terrain feature. Neat! That's pretty neat. I like not taking battle shock tests. Cool, cool. I don't know how useful that is going to be, but I like that it's now an option. I mean, it's definitely more useful than nothing. Yeah, I like that. I like avoiding battle shock tests at any cost, so that sounds pretty cool. Okay, glades. If your army is a Sylvaneth army, you can give it a glade keyword. All Sylvaneth units in your army gain that keyword. You can either choose one of the glades listed below. Okay. Or choose another glade you have read about or created yourself. Okay. If you choose one from the list below, all units with that keyword benefit from the extra abilities listed for that glade on the page indicated. If you choose a different glade, simply pick the glade that most closely matches the nature of your own. Okay, well that's cute. You can make your own glade entirely and just choose the one that you like the best for the official rules. I'm really excited to see what the glades do. And I'm not seeing any cost or anything. Oh, command traits and artifacts of power. What did they change? Okay. Aspects of war. Dread Harvester. You can reroll hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by this general if this general made a charge move in the same turn. Well, that's neat. Is this new? I don't remember the name Dread Harvester before. But then I always chose Gnarled Warrior. And Gnarled Warrior is still here. You can reroll save rolls. What? Hold on. You can reroll save rolls of 1 for attacks that target this general. What? This is not my Gnarled Warrior. You can reroll save rolls of 1 for attacks that target this general. Where's my... I can negate... where is it? Okay, so I lost that. Or maybe it's somewhere else. Okay. Gift of Gyrin. In your hero phase, you can heal 1 wound allocated to this general. That feels like that's different too. Didn't used to be like D3 wounds? I've got to check. Hold on. Okay, yeah. So it is different. It used to be your general heals 1 wound at the start of each of your hero phase, or D3 wounds if they're within 3 inches of Sylvaneth Wyldwood. So now it's only you can heal 1 wound in general. No chance for D3 wounds. So that has been nerfed. So, nerfed. Lord of Spites. You can reroll wound rolls of 1 for attacks made by this general. Okay, that's... You can reroll wound rolls of 1 for attacks made by this general. That is different too. It used to be you can reroll the first failed hit roll made for your general each phase. Now, instead, you can reroll wound rolls of 1. Lord of Spites. I never really used it, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's different. Okay. Next is Warsinger. Add 2 to charge rolls for friendly Sylvaneth units wholly within 12 inches of this general. Okay, so that's different again. It used to be you can add 1 to any charge rolls made by friendly Sylvaneth units that are within 10 inches of it. So now you can add 2 to charge rolls for friendly Sylvaneth units wholly within 12. Wholly within 12. It used to be within 10, and now it's wholly within 12 inches of this general. But it's now add 2 charge rolls, so that's improved. Okay, and next is Wisdom of the Ancients. Oh, they got rid of Realm Walker. That's what's missing. No more Realm Walker. They replaced it with Dread Harvester. You can reroll hit rolls for attacks made with charge, which is nice, but no more Realm Walker. Huh, okay. Ouch. Wisdom of the Ancients. Add 1 to the Bravery characteristic of friendly Sylvaneth units while they are wholly within 12 inches of this general. Okay, so this was very little change to this. It's instead of being while they're within 10 inches of this general, they have changed it to now while they are wholly within 12 inches of this general. Basically, very little change on that one. But Realm Walker is gone. Dread Harvester is a new one. Gnarled Warrior is completely different. Lord of Spites is a bit different. Warsinger is better. Gift of Garland is reduced. Okay. I'm very sad for Gnarled Warrior. I loved my -1 to rend. I loved negating the -1 rend. Alright. Now, okay, so aspects of renewal. This is command traits that can be only given to wizard generals. Which is new entirely. Isn't it? Yeah. Neat. Okay, well, let's have a look. Arcane Bounty. This general knows 1 extra spell from the lore of the Deepwood. Cool. Mystic Regrowth. At the end of your hero phase, if this general successfully cast any spells in that phase that were not unbound, you can heal D3 wounds allocated to this general. Neat. Voice of Warding. This general can attempt to unbind 1 extra spell in the enemy hero phase. Okay. Glade Lore. Add 1 to casting rolls for this general while it is wholly within 6 inches of any Awakened Wyldwoods. Cool. Okay, that's nice. Spell Singer. Add 6 inches to the range of each spell this general successfully casts. Well, that would be nice for someone who has lots of spells, like Alariel. Neat. Radiant Spirit. Each time this general is affected by a spell or endless spell, you can roll a dice. If you do so, on a 4+, ignore the effects of that spell or endless spell on this general. Well, that's interesting. I mean, that's very specific. No, sorry, affected by a spell or endless spell, you can roll. So if your general keeps getting hit by things, if your general is a big target, you could choose that one. Oh. Different. Now, Artifacts of Power. Weapons of the Glades. Right. Daith's Reaper. Okay, Daith's Reaper used to be a one. What does it say? Pick 1 of the bear's melee weapons. Improve the rend characteristic of that weapon by 1. That's nice. What did it used to be? It said, it used to be, pick 1 of the hero's melee weapons. Oh, never mind. Pick 1 of the hero's melee weapons to be Daith's Reaper. When making attacks with this weapon, any wound rolls of 6 or more have rend characteristic of -4. Okay, so this one was pick 1 of the bearer's melee weapons, improve the rend characteristic of that weapon by 1, and then instead of any wound rolls of 6 or more had a rend characteristic of 4. So I'd call that an improvement. Greenwood Gladius, that seems to be a new one. Pick 1 of the bearer's melee weapons. Add 2 to the attack characteristic of that weapon if the bearer made a charge move in the same turn. Well, that's cool. Next is Autumn's Ire. So that's new. Pick 1 of the bearer's melee weapons. You can reroll hit and wound rolls of 1 for attacks made with that weapon while any wounds are allocated to the bearer. Okay, well that's neat. So if he's hurt, you can reroll hit and wound rolls of 1. So good for a high wound character or someone who can really heal. Winnow Staff. This also is new. Pick one of the bear's melee weapons. You can reroll hit rolls for attacks made by that weapon that target a unit with a wounds characteristic of 1. Okay, that's very specific to if your enemy has things like dragons, little guys. Wouldn't be so good against like Stormcast Eternals, but I guess it would be good against Khorne. Ancient Barkblade. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons. Add 1 to the damage characteristic of that weapon. Nice. The Darkest Bow. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons. If the unmodified wound roll for an attack made with that weapon is 6, that attack inflicts D3 mortal wounds on the target in addition to any normal damage. Nice. Okay. Boons of the Everqueen. The Oaken Armor. It used to add 1 to any save rolls made for this hero. What does it do now? You can reroll save rolls of 1 made for attacks that target the bearer. Okay. Similar, but it has changed. Briar Sheath. Used to be your opponent must subtract 1 from all hit rolls made against the Briar Sheath's bearer. Now Briar Sheath is subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks that target the bearer. Okay, so it's the same. Great. They haven't changed it. They've changed the wording a bit, but it's the same. Glamour Weave. Glamour Weave used to be roll a dice each time the bearer suffers an unsaved wound or mortal wound. On a roll of 6, the wound is ignored. Okay, so what is it now? Roll a dice each time you allocate a mortal wound to the bearer. Okay, so instead of wound, it's just mortal wound now. But on mortal wound, on a 5+, that mortal wound is negated. So it used to be wounds and mortal wounds. On a 6+, it's negated. Now it is just mortal wounds, but on a 5+, the mortal wound is negated. Lash Vines. Lash Vine seems to be a new thing. Roll a dice each time a wound inflicted by a melee weapon is allocated to the bearer and not negated. On a 6+, the attacking unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Well, that's cool. Every time you get a wound, on a 6, they get a wound. Mortal wound. Silken Snares. They seem to be new. If the weapon used for an attack that targets the bearer has a rend characteristic of -1, change the rend characteristic for that attack to nothing. Okay, so I lost the Gnarled War command trait, but they returned it in the form of Silken Snares, an artifact. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I like my Moonstone of the Hidden Ways. Speaking of which, where is the Moonstone of the Hidden Ways? Where is it? Oh, I hope they didn't get rid of the Moonstone of the Hidden Ways. Oh, I really like that. I think there's more on here. Maybe there's more on the other page. Okay. Nightbloom Garland. The bearer is not visible to enemy models that are more than 12 inches from the bearer. Well, that's cool. Cute. You can't shoot at them. That one looks new as well. Okay. So you can't shoot at enemy the bearer is not visible to enemy models that are more than 12 inches from the bearer. Good. Alright, Verdant Treasures. Oh, Seed of Rebirth. Okay, Seed of Rebirth is still there. Oh, it says Seed of Rebirth, not Seeds of Rebirth. Mild change. Name. Alright, the first time the bearer is slain, before removing them from the battlefield, roll a dice. On a 1, the bearer is slain. I feel like that's different. On a 2+, the bearer is not slain. You can heal up to D3 wounds allocated to them, and any wounds that remain to be allocated to them are negated. Okay, so it used to be, the first time the bearer of this artifact loses its last wound, it immediately heals D3 wounds. This one, on a 1, the bearer is still slain. On a 2+, the bearer is not slain, and you heal up to D3 wounds allocated to him, and any wounds that remain. Okay, so this is actually better, for sure, because any wounds that remain to be allocated to them are negated. It didn't used to do that. So if you were like overkilled, you'd still be killed sometimes. Now it's negated, so if you roll a 2+, you're definitely coming back with D3 wounds. So that's good. I'd say that's an improvement. Even though there is a chance it's still sane, I'd say that's definitely an improvement. Alright, Raystone. Subtract 1 from the Bravery of all enemy units. Maybe this is... Subtract 1 from the Bravery characteristic of enemy units while they are within 10 inches of the bearer. Okay, so this is the same. Ever do Vile. Add 2 to run rolls and charge rolls for the bearer. Okay, that's new. Okay, Life Wreath. In your hero phase, roll a dice. On a 3+, you can heal D3 wounds allocated to each friendly Sylvaneth unit wholly within 10 inches of the bearer. Wow, that's nice. I like that. Crown of Fell Bowers. At the start of the combat phase, pick one enemy unit within 6 inches of the bearer. You can reroll wound rolls for attacks made by friendly Sylvaneth units that target that unit in that phase. That's neat. And Ether Blossom. The bearer can fly! Ah, yeah! Okay, that's cool. I will totally have flying. Oh, I don't know whether that would be the best artifact out of all of these. But I really like the idea that he could fly. That my Tree Lord Ancient could fly. So tempting. Yeah. Oh, I like that. Okay. Relics of Nature, wizards only. Okay. Artifacts just for wizards. Acorn of the Ages. Used to. Once per game, in your hero phase, set up a new Sylvaneth Wyldwood anywhere from within 5 inches of the bearer. The wood cannot be set up within 1 inch of any other models or terrain features. Okay, now it says, once per battle, at the start of your hero phase, you can set up an awakened Wyldwood wholly within 12 inches of the bearer, and more than 1 inch from any other model, terrain feature, or objective, and add it to your army. Okay, so not on objectives, it specifically specifies. So a bit different, and wholly within 12, which is pretty close to being the same as within 5 inches of the bearer. I mean, you've got a little bit more leeway. Little bit. Alright. Spirit Song Stave. The bearer can attempt to cast 1 extra spell in your hero phase. Nice. The Vesperal Gem. Once in each of your hero phases, when the bearer attempts to cast a spell from the lore of the Deepwood, instead of making a casting roll, you can say they are using the Vesperal Gem. If you do so, that spell is automatically cast and cannot be unbound. After the effect of that spell has been resolved, roll a dice. On a 1, the bearer suffers D3 mortal wounds. I will totally take D3 mortal wounds to not be and cannot be unbound. A counterless spell. Or a spell that can't be countered. Yes! Oh, I like that. Oh, once in each of your hero phase. What? Is it once in each of your hero phases? You have a counterless spell in each of your hero phases? Wow. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like that. Okay. Yeah, I'm excited. Alright. Lunas Lamp. Add 2 to the roll when the bearer attempts to unbind or dispel an endless spell. On the other hand, maybe I'll get 1s and just kill myself. But still, I like it. Okay, sorry. I'm still thinking about the Vesperal Gem. Lunas Lamp. Add 2 to the roll when the bearer attempts to unbind or dispel an endless spell. Okay, well that's neat. Hagbane Spite. We've had this Hagbane Spite before. What did it used to do? It used to be, once per game, instead of attempting to unbind a spell, the bearer can send forth their Hagbane Spite to attack the caster. After resolving the spell's effects, the caster immediately suffers D3 mortal wounds. Okay. Now it says, if the bearer successfully unbinds a spell, the caster suffers 1 mortal wound. Alright, well that's completely different. I like it. I mean, I'd be choosing the Vesperal Gem, but I like it. Witchwood Glaive. Alright, a new one. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons. Add 2 to the damage inflicted by that weapon for attacks that target a wizard. Oh, neat. This is entirely for going after enemy wizards. Okay. It looks like they got rid of a couple different ones. I would say that the Vesperal Gem is a great replacement. for Ranu's Limitery, for anyone who is using it. Moonstone of the Hidden Ways is gone. Yeah, it's gone. There is no way for a general to pop across the board anymore, at least that I'm seeing. I am pretty sad about that. How am I going to get my Tree Lord Ancient? His nickname's Slowpoke, by the way. How am I going to get my Tree Lord Ancient across the area? I'm going to have to use the Awakened Wyldwoods, I guess. Or he could fly. It's going to be harder to get to objectives. I've been cheating him across with Moonstone of the Hidden Ways, and now it's gone. Okay. And the other thing that is gone is the Silverwood Circlet, which did add 6 to the maximum range of every spell that the wearer knows. Okay, it feels like they had that somewhere though. There it is, Spellsinger. So it used to be an artifact, and now it's a command trait. Add 6 to the range of each spell this general successfully casts. So it has to be your general. But they still have it, sort of. Just like they still have the Gnarled Warrior, sort of. Switched back and forth. But they definitely don't seem to have Moonstone of Hidden Ways. It's gone. I'm going to have to really think about what I'm going to do instead. Ah! Lures of the Deep Wood. Spell lures. Okay, let's have a look. Sylvaneth wizards know the Verdant Blessing spell in addition to any other spells they know. Yes, I heard that it was gone, but it's not actually gone. Everyone has it. That's nice. In addition, you can choose or roll for one of the spells from the Lore of the Deep Wood table for each wizard in a Sylvaneth army. So there they are. And here's the Verdant Blessing. Verdant Blessing has a casting value of 6 if successfully cast. Set up 1 Awakened Wyldwood wholly within 12 inches of the caster, more than 1 inch from any other model, terrain feature, or objective. Okay, so that's pretty close to being the same as what it was. And they've stuck in objective. It can't be any close, you can't pop it on top of an objective, which I guess is fair. Throne of Vines. So, Throne of Vines used to be, if successfully cast, the caster can add D3 to all future casting and unbinding rolls they make until their next move. Once cast, the caster cannot cast the spell again unless they have moved. So now, Throne of Vines has a casting value of 5, so that's the same. If successfully cast, add 2, so not D3, to casting rolls for the caster until the caster makes a move or is set up in a different location. Add 2 to the casting rolls, but not unbinding, so you can't add to your unbinding anymore. Okay. Regrowth. Regrowth has a casting value of 5. If successfully cast, pick 1 friendly Sylvaneth unit wholly within 18 inches of the caster and visible to them. You can heal up to D6 wounds allocated to the unit. Okay, so it used to be deal D3 wounds to a friendly unit and D6 to a Sylvaneth unit. But now they just got rid of the other one and it's just D6 to Sylvaneth units. Yeah, now it's wholly within 18 inches and it used to be just within 18 inches. So you have to get a bit closer. Yeah, that's gone down a bit. I'd still use it. I would still use it, but a little bit of a nerf. Wholly within 18. Okay. The Dwellers Below. The Dwellers Below has a casting value of 7. That's the same. If successfully cast, pick 1 enemy unit within 10 inches of the caster and visible to them. Okay, so now it has to be visible to them. Sure. And roll a number of dice equal to the number of models in that unit. Okay, so that's the same. For each 6+, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Right. So it is basically exactly the same it used to be. Except you have to be visible to the caster now. Otherwise, completely the same. Okay. Deadly Harvest. That's new. What is Deadly Harvest? Deadly Harvest has a casting value of 6. If successfully cast, each enemy unit within 3 inches of the caster suffers D3 mortal wounds. Roll separately for each unit. Okay, so Deadly Harvest is... yep, Deadly Harvest is what the Reaping used to be. They just changed the name. Okay. Murderous Harmony, yes. This one used to be specific to us, to the Warscroll, of course, that I chose. And now everyone can have it. Yay! Murderous Harmony has a casting value of 7. If successfully cast, pick one friendly Sylvaneth unit wholly within 18 inches of the caster. Wholly within 18 inches again. And visible to them. You can return one slain model to that unit. If you picked a unit of Dryads, Tree Revenants, or Spite Revenants, you can return up to D3 slain models to that unit instead of 1. Yeah! Alright. Tree Song got an awful lot shorter. Okay, it used to be, if successfully cast, pick a Sylvaneth Wyldwood within 10 inches of the caster. That Wyldwood's roused by magic ability is immediately activated. After resolving damage, if any, roll 2 dice and move the Wyldwood in any direction up to the distance rolled in inches, and so on. Any units that are wholly within the Sylvaneth Wyldwood are also moved along with it. Okay, so now it's Tree Song has a casting value of 7. If successfully cast, pick one enemy unit within 16 inches of the caster and within 6 inches of an awakened Wyldwood. Until the end of the turn, you can re-roll hit and wound rolls of 1 for attacks made with melee weapons that target that unit. So it is completely different. You can't pick up your Wyldwood and move it somewhere else, nor activate its abilities. Now it's just you squeeze an enemy unit in between the caster and this awakened Wyldwood, and melee weapons that target that unit can reroll hit and wound rolls of 1 for attacks. Okay, so that's really changed. The awakened Wyldwood. Right, this is different. Okay. A Sylvaneth army can include one awakened Wyldwood terrain feature after territories have been chosen, but before armies are set up. So after territories have been chosen, big change, but before armies are set up, you can set up the awakened Wyldwood anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 1 inch from any other terrain features, more than 1 from enemy territory, and more than 6 inches away from any objectives. So this is so much different than what it used to be. So you know what side you're on, and then you put down the Sylvaneth Wyldwood, or the awakened Wyldwood, and you can't put it in enemy territory. That makes it really different. So different. Okay. If both players can set up a terrain feature before armies are set up, they must roll off and the winner can choose the order in which the terrain features are set up. So, oh my goodness! You used to be able to, like, you know, you don't know where you were going, but you could put this Sylvaneth Wyldwood right over here, and then if you happen to be on the other side of the board, well then you can do another Sylvaneth Wyldwood there with one of your abilities. And then you'd have 2 Sylvaneth Wyldwoods on 2 different sides of the boards. Not anymore. Now you can't put it in enemy territory. So you have to put it in your own territory, which means you can't fly across the board through the wood like you used to. I am kind of sad about that. I will make do. Absolutely. But sad. Yeah. Okay. Now, on to the Awakened Wyldwood Warscroll. Okay, an Awakened Wyldwood is a single terrain feature consisting of 3 to 6 Citadel Wood models. Each tip of each Citadel Wood model must touch the tip of a different Citadel Wood model, with the tips of all the models pointing inwards so that a ring is formed. The battlefield inside the ring is treated as being part of that Awakened Wyldwood, and they've got a little diagram of what that looks like there. So the entirety is the Awakened Wyldwood. So that's different. Are you allowed to use the older Citadel Wood models? Or do you have to use these ones now? I don't actually know the answer to that. I will have to find out. Overgrown Wilderness. Models, okay, so they input the Citadel Woods scenery roll right into the Warscroll for the Awakened Wyldwood, which they definitely should have done before, because there was a point where I didn't know that they also had this rule. Alright, models are not visible to each other if an imaginary straight line 1 millimeter wide drawn between the closest points of the two models crosses over more than 1 inch of an Awakened Wyldwood. This scenery rule does not apply if either model can fly. Roused by magic. In the hero phase, if a spell is successfully cast by a wizard wholly within 6 inches of an Awakened Wyldwood and not unbound, roll a dice for each unit within 1 inch of that Awakened Wyldwood which does not have the Sylvaneth keyword. On a 5+, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds after that spell's effects have been resolved. Wyldwood. At the end of the charge phase, roll a dice for each unit. Okay, so this has changed too. It used to be ran or charged across. But now it's at the end of the charge phase. Roll a dice for each enemy unit within 1 inch of an Awakened Wyldwood, which does not have the Sylvaneth keyword. On a 6, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Okay, so that is quite different then. Also, it's only the Sylvaneth that isn't affected by this. It used to be heroes and monsters were not affected by it, and that doesn't say anything about heroes and monsters now. And it's within 1 inch of a Sylvaneth Wyldwood, not if they cross over it. However, big difference. On a 6, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. It used to be you had to roll for every single model that was going across, and on a 1, that model would be slain. Now, on a 6, the entire unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. So, that is very different. I mean, if you had been really lucky, you could slay multiple models. But now, maximum, the unit is suffering 3 mortal wounds. Though, it's within 1 inch. They don't necessarily have to charge over it now. It's within 1 inch. But even it's at the end of the charge phase. So they now can charge over it. If they get a great charge, they'll just charge right over it. I would call that a bit of a nerf. For sure. I mean, even now, heroes and monsters are affected by it now, so that's great. But definitely seems like a nerf to me. But I suppose because of Verdant Blessing given to all the wizards, and I know that the True Lord Ancient will immediately get one. I guess it's going to be easier for Awakened Wyldwoods to pop up more often than they used to. So, and this seems to be a bit bigger. I guess we'll find out when I actually break open the new box of Awakened Wyldwood. Okay. Now we get to the glades. So I scanned through, and there are a bunch of them. So let's just go with this one, for example. So you choose a glade, or you can choose a glade. You don't necessarily have to choose one, it seems. But if you do choose a glade, you get these abilities. There's an ability that's just innate to all of the units, and then there's a command ability that your hero can use. There is also a command trait which must be chosen instead of any of the other ones that we just read a few pages ago, back on page 66. So if you choose this Harvest Boon glade, for example, your general must have this one. If you choose the Dreadwood, then your general must have that one. Instead of any other command trait, they must choose this one. And then the Artifact of Power, your first Artifact of Power must be this one. But these are free. These are free additional abilities. There's no cost to them. So that's cool. So yeah, let's have a look at one. The Winterleaf. Let's have a look at the Winterleaf. Ability, Winter's Bite. If the unmodified hit roll of an attack made with a melee weapon by a friendly Winterleaf unit is 6, that attack inflicts 2 hits on the target instead of 1. Make a wound and save roll for each hit. If you roll a 6 on your hit rolls, the attack inflicts 2 hits on the target instead of 1. Cool, I like that. Branch Blizzard. You can use this command ability in your shooting phase. If you do so, pick one enemy unit within 12 inches of a friendly Winterleaf hero and visible to them. Roll a number of dice equal to the number of models in that unit. For each 6+, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Nice! So that's Branch Blizzard command with the command trait. So again, this would be one that you'd have to take. My Heart is Ice. Roll a dice each time a wound inflicted by a melee weapon is allocated to this general and not negated. On a 5+, the attacking unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Cool. Artifact of Power. Frozen Kernel. Once per battle, at the start of the combat phase, you can pick one friendly Winterleaf unit wholly within 18 inches of the bearer. After that unit has fought in that phase for the first time, if it is within 3 inches of an enemy unit, it can make a pile-in move and then attack with all of the melee weapons it is armed with for a second time. Cool. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the other ones do yet. But I think I'm gonna just choose this one. I like attacking twice with 20 dryads. Yes, please. Oh my gosh. Okay. I like that one. Yeah. So I won't give away all of them, but it's pretty fun. There's a battle plan. There's a path to glory sort of thing. Sylvaneth Warband tables, the Warscroll for a Wargrove battalion to awaken Wyldwoods. And then there are the various battalions that you get to use. Now, I know at the back and there are all the points for the different battalions. And then here are the War Scrolls for all of the current Sylvaneth models. Plus the new Endless Spell War Scrolls. So let's see. Okay, Ground Shaking Stomp. At the start of the combat phase, pick one enemy unit within. Yes, so this is different. This is different. And this is mildly different. So there's a big difference in this Ground Shaking Stomp difference is the same with the Tree Lord. Yeah. So the Tree Lord Ancient, the Tree Lord, and the Spirit of Durthus. Yeah. Ground Shaking Stomp have changed, as well as the Impale ability as well. So those have changed. So when I read it here, no, it's also the same for the Tree Lord and the Spirit of Durthus. Okay. So their Ground Shaking Stomp has changed to, at the start of the combat phase, pick one enemy unit within 3 inches of this model and roll a dice. On a 4+, that unit fights at the end of that combat phase after the players have picked any other units to fight. Right, so it used to be on a 4+ would make it 1 harder to hit the Tree Lord Ancient, but that is gone. Now they go last. I like it, actually. You have a chance of, killing them off before they even hit him at all. Alright, and their Impale is also changed. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with massive impaling talons is 6, so if you hit on a 6, that attack inflicts d6 mortal wounds on the target, and the attack sequence ends. Do not make a wound roll or save roll. You used to have to hit. Now it was 3+ and 2+, so hitting wasn't so hard. But now, if you just get a 6, immediately you deal d6 mortal wounds. It used to be that the model would take 1, and then the model could be slain. Now, the unit takes d6 mortal wounds. Yeah. Silent Communion. Right. Yes, this was a big change as well. It used to be you had an ability on a 4+, you'd get to put out Sylvaneth Wyldwood more than 3 inches away from anything else. And I think within 24 inches of him. Now, completely different. Instead, you get 1, but you definitely get it. Once per battle, in your hero phase, you can pick one friendly model with this ability and set up one Awakened Wyldwood wholly within 18 inches of that model, and more than 1 inch from any other model, terrain feature, or objective, and add it to your army. Okay, Awakening the Wood. Awakening the Wood has a casting value of 6. If successfully cast, pick one friendly Awakened Wyldwood that is wholly within 30 inches of the caster. Each enemy unit within 3 inches of that Awakened Wyldwood suffers d3 mortal wounds. Okay, so it's basically the same, but now it's wholly within 30 instead of 24 inches away. Heed the Spirit Song. You can use this command ability in your hero phase. If you do so, pick one friendly model with this command ability. Until your next hero phase, you can reroll save rolls of 1 for attacks that target friendly Sylvaneth units wholly within 12 inches of that model. So it used to be within 10 inches, and now it's wholly within 12, so basically the same. Branch Witch. Let's see what the Branch Witch is. Companion. Oh yeah, Bitter Grub. Fury of the Forest. Right, so this one has changed a bit. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by this model while it is wholly within 6 inches of any friendly Awakened Wyldwood. So instead of within 3 inches, it's wholly within 6 inches. Quick Tempered. Add 2 to the attack characteristic of this model's Greenwood Scythe whilst any wounds are allocated to this model. Right, so this is much better. I do like this improvement. Trio Revenants, see if you have any changes. Okay, so Trio Revenants have no change. Kurnoth Hunters. It's an unmodified wound roll for an attack made with a Kurnoth Hunter Greatsword is 6. That attack inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target in addition to any normal damage. Nice. Right, so the Envoys of the Everqueen has just changed from, instead of being within 10 inches, it's now wholly within 12 inches. And if you don't recall what that is, if a friendly Sylvaneth hero uses a command ability, friendly Sylvaneth units wholly within 12 inches of these Kurnoth Hunters are treated as being in range of that command ability. They also reworded it so it was more clear, so that's good. Stranglethorn Thicket. At the start of the charge phase, you can say that the unit will sprout thorn branches. If you do, to the end of the turn, this unit cannot move except to Palin up to 1 inch, but you can reroll save rolls. Okay, so that's the same. Trample Underfoot. At the end of the combat phase, you can pick one unit, enemy unit, within 1 inch of this unit and roll a dice. For each model in this unit, for each 4+, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. So that is different. It used to be that you only had to choose. You only got to count the Kurnoth Hunters that were within 1 inch of the enemy unit. But now, if you are within 1 inch of any of the Kurnoth Hunters, for each Kurnoth Hunter that happens to be in the unit at the time, you roll a 4+, and the enemy unit suffers a mortal wound. So that's nice. And Dryads, right, so the Dryads, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks that target this unit if it is wholly within 6 inches of any friendly Awakened Woods. They don't allow you to stretch your Dryads out to make certain that a couple of them are within 3 inches. Now everyone has to be wholly within 6 inches of any friendly Awakened Wyldwoods to count for that. That's the same. However, this is good. This is good. Add 1 to save rolls for attacks that target this unit while it contains 10 or more models. It used to be 12 or more models, so that your base group of 10 Dryads didn't get this ability, but they have decreased the number down to 10. So your base Dryads, as long as there's no one missing, now has this Impenetrable Thicket, which I definitely like. And those are the... And that is it. And now we're at an end. So I'm really excited to choose I'm really excited to pick my Glade. That's going to be lots of fun. I am so sad that they took out my Moon Glade of the Hidden Ways. I don't know how my my Tree Lord Ancient General is going to get across the board anymore. But overall, I'm happy about the changes and the updates, and I hope you are too.